Okay guys, so we just got this new HOBO VT2, and this is what comes in the box. It's the car. It's already got a carbon fiber top chassis brace. Comes with this nice rear drive shaft and this extra body post and whatnot. So today we are going to be building this to be a hopefully 200-mile-an-hour plus car. Okay, so these are some of the upgrades that we got for the HOBO. This is a motor mount, upgraded bearings, shock towers, front and rear, much heavier duty springs, a different top plate, perfect pass, carbon fiber chassis, and 2 TP power motors. So we also got these higher gear ratio diff gears, and then we're going to take apart the diffs, install those, and then do our shock towers and our heavy duty springs all at the same time. Okay, so we're going to take the top plate off in order to get to our differentials. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take our spool and our drive shafts out. We got to take that. We got to take these out from the bottom first. We don't really even need to take those off. We're just going to take the back off to get to the rear differential. So go ahead and take. You don't have to take these 2 out because it's just whole. I don't believe. So just take these 2 out and these 2 out here. And I think there might be a couple screws in the end you gotta take out. I can't remember. There are 2 at the back here. And this one long screw. So guys, these are your pills, is what we call them. These are adjustable on the HOBO, unlike the ARMA, and this can affect your toe in or your toe out in your tires. So typically a little bit of either 0 or a little bit of toe in is great. Toe out is never good, meaning your tires would be kind of like this versus like this is a little bit of toe in. Okay, so now we got access to the rear diff. So now we're going to go ahead and pull the rear diff out, and then we'll be able to change the gears. Okay, so now we got a rear diff out, and we'll be able to take this apart.
Oh, look at that, guys.
That was a little dry.
Yeah, not any fluid in there, hardly at all. Alright, let us find our parts. Alright guys, so he is got the differential apart. We got a new set of ceramic bearings we're going to be putting in this car. So, and then we're going to start to take the center piece out. Right now he's going to put the new primary gear on here. And then we'll start working on the rest of the differential. Alright, so Mason's going to start working on putting that gear together, and here's the back of the car, guys. You can see here that these little pills, I'm going to try to show this to you. I don't know if I can get it to zoom in on that or not. But these little pills being, it says 0 or 3 degrees, so depending on how you want the car to have toe in or toe out, you can adjust, turn these little holes around either inside or outside. So that's how your pills work on the back of the car, and then you got pills up here in the front that are bring it up or down. So he'll continue to work on that, pull that apart, put the new bearings on it, and we'll get back to you guys.
Okay, so now we're about to start getting ready to fill our rear diff back up, and we're going to be using this 500K rear diff fluid. And you want to fill this up all the way. And this stuff is very, very thick.
Let me take that lid off there. Yeah guys, you want to make sure you get it down in there good and push down there, rotate your gears, make sure everything is nice and full. So now we're going to work on replacing that shock tower.
I'm going to go and unbolt from the bulkhead.
Guys, like I said, with my time I've been working on one of these, just make sure your tools are seated in really, really well into your screws before you start.
Now we need to get these screws for our shocks out. Now we can just go ahead and take the four remaining 2mm out. and then voila. Okay, so we started putting this back together and then realized that this bolts through the rear shock tower, so we'll have to wait for that until we can put our carbon fiber stuff on. So then we're just going to go ahead and take the whole chassis off the car. Since we're replacing it anyways, it'll streamline this just a little bit more. Okay. Take the bottom off there. And then we got this all apart. And again, should be able to go ahead and take that off. This is now off. Alright, so I got the new 15 tooth pinion in there. Got our rubber O-ring back in there, nice lined up. Hold your drive shaft in there. Mason's got his differential back together and fixing to put it back in there. There we go. Got a little bit of white lithium grease we put on there. Works great. Now we're gonna put our back cover on, put our pins back in, put the A-arms back all together, make sure we got everything lined up. Everything's working good together. We'll make sure there's no binding in the gears, and we'll replace the ball bearings out here real quick, and we'll be back. Alright guys, so we took loose the I don't know, drive cup, and then there's a little O-ring in there, so be careful. You see it in there. And then because of the lovely Loctite they put on there, had to actually take a screwdriver, go in here in the center of this to tap out the gear, and it's still kind of stuck in there, so we're gonna tap that out, finish putting the differential back in there with the new ball bearings. We'll get that put back together, and then we'll continue working on the car. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and rip off the center motor mount real quick. While Mason works on that back differential. Since none of this will be going back on this chassis anyway. The first HOBO I ever worked on was the screws were really bad on it, and this one seems to be a little bit better quality. I don't know if they changed something, what they got going on there. Alright, so we got motor mounts out and everything. Now we can get to the rear differential, which I already loosened up. See if we can get that out, because we have to replace that gear. Yeah, the gear. Thank you, Mason. Got a little rubber O-ring in here in the center of the spool. And try to tap that out and get that pinion out. Alright guys, change of plans. Apparently I ordered the
wrong shock tower, so we are going to put the regular one back on. So mistakes do happen. You gotta pay attention when you're ordering. That's my fault. So we'll be getting these sent back and get the right ones ordered, so we'll be adding that later on. So for now, we're gonna reassemble this mess and we'll get back. Alright guys, we're back. Mason's working on the rear end, getting it put back together. Real quick, I wanted to show you one of the nice parts that we did order. This came from Island Hobby Nut, and it's Iron Man RC chassis. And it is a really good quality chassis. You know, we cut stuff out of CNC here at the house, out of carbon fiber with the CNC, excuse me. And it's pretty good quality. So it's actually amazing quality. So holes all drilled perfect. We're gonna start slapping this thing together as Mason gets the back end done and the center section done. We'll start working on motor placement and everything else. We went ahead and opened up the dual motor mount, so we'll have, looks like we'll have to drill another hole there, very similar to other ones out there. So it looks like good quality too. So try this Iron Man build and see what how it comes along. But as soon as he gets that done, we'll come back, put that back on there, and go from there. Okay, so now we're going to disconnect this top link so that way we can get to this and change our bearings and then put our drive shafts back in. Then I need the giant Allen wrench the car comes with. It is not that giant. Okay, what size is that? That's none of the ones it comes with. Should be. That's too big. That's too small. Okay. Try the trusty 3mm. Nope. So if it's not 3mm, it's gotta be 2.5. Yeah, it is. Now go ahead and pull this out, and we will be able to push our bearings out. That one comes out from that direction. There we go. Now we got both our bearings out. And then we got our new bearings and our bearing oil. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the back of our bearing, and then we're going to spin it to get that oil all in there. And then we're going to want to put the sealed side of the bearing to the outside. And then you got to firmly push it in there. And repeat the process with the other bearing. And then we go ahead and start reassembling. Get that one side done, you can work on the other side.
You don't need to take that out all the way like I did earlier. Didn't even mean to do that, but take that out of the way, make our lives easier. There we go.
It's always nice to have an extra hand when you're working on that. If you can't pull it out, guys, you can always use something smaller that'll go all the way through. Push it through if you want to.
Okay, then you just push our bearings out again. There we go.
You saw the shim, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even see that on the other side.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So
Can't pick this thing up though with my fingers.
I'm guessing it must have been on the other side. It's a small shim. I don't think it matters, but check the ball bearings on the other side that came out in our box of goodies over here. So these old ones, put those in the box. These new ones, he's gonna oil them up, rotate them around a little bit, and then reassemble it all. Guys, remember when you put this together, check it, make sure there's no drag or anything like that on there. Nothing at all. You don't want to see nothing, no hitches, no drag at all. Same thing after you get your wheel bearings put back together. It's critical that these things, you know, operate smoothly and freely. Any of those little grindy spots or anything else will cause you easily 10 miles an hour on the top end.
And one thing that's important to note is when you're oiling ceramic bearings, you should not be able to hear them. If you hear them, you do not have enough oil in them. So when you spin an empty bearing, you can hear it. Makes an audible noise and it will spin forever. When it's oiled correctly, which these can eat a lot of oil.
Yep.
You can hear it still makes a little bit of noise, so we want just a little bit more oil in there.
And guys, when you're running ceramics with oil, guess what you get to do every 3 runs or so?
And now, makes no noise at all.
Take the car apart and re-oil them.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab. We got both of our bearings in place. So now, go ahead and put this back in. Pin, or this back on. And then our pin back in.
We just start calling everything thingies because we don't know the technical term for anything.
You don't want to tighten those down too much, because if you tighten those down too much, it puts a lot of stress on this pin here, and that can cause it to crack. And if that pin cracks, it will destroy your car in a run, because you will lose power to this wheel, and then it'll cause you to spin out.
Also, guys, when you're taking these screws out and stuff, changing all this, make sure you pay attention to where all the screws go and everything.
This is just to put our drive shaft back in.
Which those will be replaced with universal joints as soon as they become available. Another thing, you know, guys, don't over tighten all this stuff. When you over tighten all that stuff, you put it together, all it does is put stress on the plastic and everything, makes everything break easier. So no reason to wrench everything down.
Okay, so now our rear end is completely reassembled. We got all of our bearings in there. It spins nice and freely. And then
now we're gonna check for slop, right? Any slop in anything? There's a little bit in there, but that's because of the pin size. A little bit there. So, all right, let's get that sucker put on the back of the new chassis, and then we'll move on to the next one, all right?
Yep.
Put the wheel nut on that one,
Yep.
so we don't lose that. Put our flashlight away.
Okay, guys, so one of the most important steps in building a car is trying to keep your hands and all your parts clean. So you don't want oil getting into unnecessary things like on all your screws and on your aluminum pieces, because it's just gonna get everything dirty and not look nice, right? So you want to keep it all looking nice, at least before it's built. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the whole rear end of the car back onto this new chassis, and then start working on the front end. Okay, so we got 2 pins we got to line up on the front of this. We'll go ahead and start with those, and then we're gonna go ahead and set it down on that so it doesn't come apart. And then we got 4 long screws to go into the differential in the front here, and then into the back. And then we got 2 short screws to go into the front.
It's always good to start your screws by hand, especially the ones that go in aluminum, guys. As you cross thread the stuff real quick.
Okay. So, see, this is one problem we're having here is this